when it's raining, the trails are all muddy, there's no need to hide inside away from the elements when you've got your e-bike. With the right setup techniques, a bit of skills, you're gonna get the best days riding you're ever gonna have on your e-bike. Let's get into it. When it comes to that winter riding, you really got to adjust those expectations of what you're going to get from that ride. A ride that might take 2 hours in the summer, it's probably going to take you 3 in the winter, purely because of trail conditions. You're going to be going slower. Just don't go trying to do those biggest rides, because you get a mechanical out in the middle of nowhere, the furthest point out in winter is really going to cause problems. Also bear in mind that the battery isn't going to last as long as well. Things like trail conditions, temperature, going to take a big hit on that battery, so don't go trying to do a big long ride. Most of all, just enjoy it. When it comes to winter riding, you really need to think about where you're riding as well. There's no point riding those trails that have a lot of sitting, standing water on there, because you're just going to get cut up straight away as soon as you get through that on your bike. You need to think about the soil type as well. If it's clay or chalk, stay away from that stuff when it's raining or wet. Nice loamy, sandy spots tend to drain really well. Any trail that's obviously on a hill, the higher up the trail, it's going to be better, because that water is going to run down the bottom of the hill. If conditions are really nasty, bike parks have trails that are designed to take that water away, and a really good bet when the weather's real nasty, because you can get a nice, dry, predictable base on that trail. When it comes to riding those trails, I like to start off nice and slowly when it comes to when it's all muddy and wintry conditions. Thing is, that trail can become so different. It depends on the amount of rainfall that it's had. You know, if it's just rained a little bit, that trail's gonna have a lot more grip than a big downpour, so just bear that in mind. Real nice way of just cruising through those trails, pushing those corners, a little bit more each corner, just trying to find that grip level. Doing little skids, things like that can help with that back wheel grip, especially when it comes to braking. You want to be going into a section thinking that you can stop in normal conditions. You find out it's about 5 times greasier and slippier than it usually is. Just start slow, build that trail speed up. It'll be way safer than going into that first corner and lying down in front of your mates. So when it comes to riding winter mud, momentum is key. You really need to hit those sections either up or down, fully committed. If you go in there with a little speed, you're gonna get sucked in by that mud. If you come in there with good speed, you're gonna plow straight through it. Just make sure you're getting that weight a little bit further back, hold on, enter with speed, and you're gonna exit with speed too. Enter slow, you're probably gonna get stuck, wheel spin. So the faster the better when it comes to thick, loopy mud. So when it comes to climbing on your e-bike in the winter, it's really important to look ahead, anticipate what's coming, think about your gear selection, look at your line as well. This trail ahead I can see is really wet in the middle, so I'm going to swap across to the outside, get more grip, just trying to stay out that mud, get my weight back, feeling that motor engaging, and just trying to keep that momentum going all the way up the trail. So let's look at line choice on climbs like this. You can see in the middle of the trail is where every single person goes. That's going to be really wet, really slippy. As soon as I start going on that steep stuff, I'm going to probably lose traction and I'm going to end up either stopping or a big wheel spin and having to recover from that. What I can see on the left hand side and the right hand side is a nice fresh bit of trail. I can also see there's a lot of stone in there. I can see that that soil has actually changed. So I've looked ahead, I can see where the grip is. So I'm going to glide through this, let the motor do its work. Then when the hill gets steep, I'm going to transfer across to that grippier side, get those powerful strokes in, because when you put power down on that grippy stuff, the bike's going to drive up the hill. If you put the power down in this soft, sloppy stuff, it's just going to cause a wheel spin. So when it comes to those slippy climbs, another thing you really want to think about is which power mode and what gear you're in as well. Not necessarily the higher power is going to make this climb any easier. Sometimes it makes that back wheel spin up a lot easier. So if you are struggling with it, maybe turn that power down a notch. You might find yourself actually getting more grip and a lot more calculated sort of torque to that back wheel. Also think about what gear you're in as well. Easiest gear or the lowest gear might not necessarily be the right gear as well. Mess around with those gears, mess around with that power set and see which works for you. Let's talk about braking points when it comes to riding your local downhill trails as well. Don't go expecting to slow down as well as you do in the dry. Those braking points that you might be able to hit in the summer are going to come twice or 3 times as long. That bike's going to be skidding around loads. So just bear that in mind when you come into those corners. Also, a good thing to think about is how cold it is out there on the trails. If it's below freezing, your fingers are probably going to be numb, meaning you're not going to pull those brakes on as hard as what you think you are. So just bear that in mind when it comes to braking points out there on the trails. Let's talk about cornering in the mud on your e-bike. Your e-bike's got big tyres, big suspension, a lot of weight pulling it into the ground, so they're really capable machines when it comes to cornering, although good technique is really vital too. When it comes to a berm corner, you really need to come in, think about your entry speed into that berm. If it's slippy, it's going to be taking it a lot slower than it would do when you normally rail it in the summer, so just think about that as well. Grip levels, think about where you are in the berm, make sure you're nice and high up there. If you end up going low, you're going to slide in all that slop and the water that's in the bottom of that berm. When it comes to flat corners, same technique, just really don't be afraid to stick a foot out if things start sliding around, just get that extra balance. It's good technique, no jerky movements, no jerky brakes, slow in, fast out when it comes to slippy corners on your e-bike. So when things get extra slippy out on the trails, I tend to change my riding position slightly. I'm not so much like on top of the bike, I tend to sit more into the bike and really feel what those tyres and wheels are doing on the bike. I also tend to ride a bit more front wheel, like weight slightly more biased towards the front. That way that grip's just going to get increased on that front wheel, especially on those flat corners. A bit more weight on the front wheel can help drive those corners in. Don't forget you've got those big tyres, really capable machines in the corners. So a steep chute in the wet and mud can intimidate the most proficient mountain biker. These things can be pretty intimidating if they're full of wet puddles, roots, rocks, things like that, things that can knock you off balance. But the key to these is just good commitment and momentum. Momentum's key in any part of winter riding. Keep those wheels turning, you've got that wheel going, it's going to point straight and it's going to go down whatever you're pointing it at. If you start grabbing a load of brakes on entry, you're going to start losing balance, you're going to lose that momentum, it's going to become twice as hard. You really need to modulate your brakes on these as well. Try and get a lot of that braking done with that back wheel. Really drive that wheel down into the ground, trying to get as much purchase into the ground as you can with your pedals, and your weight positioning needs to be really far back over that back wheel. Modulate that front brake. You want to use the front brake, but don't use it to excess. If you skid that front wheel, you may as well be sat in a toboggan down there. Your steering's going to go, your whole bike's just going to slide. So rear brake and modulate that front brake on and off, just keeping that speed down. Pick your line, commit. These things are a doddle. One thing that's really good to do is head down to your local bike park or any legal area that there is to ride and help out on a build or a dig day, especially in those winter months. They hold a lot of stuff, including drainage, building new jumps. Give something back to the trails that you've ridden all year. It's going to feel even more amazing next time you rail that berm or jump you helped create in the summer. Oh. So there you go, that's all my winter riding techniques. I hope it's going to help you guys out there on the trails, getting those techniques dialed in. Just make sure you remember momentum is key. Think about where you're putting that power in. Let that bike move around beneath you. Just stay loose and you'll have a fun time whatever the weather come winter. If you've enjoyed today's video, don't forget to check out my 100k challenge up here where I ride an e-bike on one charge on the battery, see how far I could go. We've also got autumnal riding tips if it's not quite winter where you are in the world down here. Give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed today's video. Don't forget to drop some comments in the box below. And don't forget to subscribe to EMBN. See you in the next one.